I was in the United States Navy. I come from a military family, but they're all Marines.
Go in. Come. Nudge. Very good. Tug.
I'm the oldest of 5. And when I approached my dad to tell him I was going into the service, he was over the moon. And then he said, well, when are you leaving for Parris Island? And I said, well, Daddy, I'm not going to Parris Island. He said, but that's where all the Marines train. And I said, I'm not going to the Marine Corps, Dad. And I kid you not, this is literally what he did. Lord, where have I gone wrong? I'm still getting razzed about it, 40 years later, that I was a squid and not a jarhead. But I loved every day of being in the Navy. And have I had it to do all over again, knowing even what I know now, I'd have gone in sooner.
Side. Sit. Get it. Breathe. Good girl. Down. Good job. Stay. Oh, hi. Sorry. Schatz and I were just practicing for tonight's demonstration. Release. We want to give you a demonstration on service dog work and what some of the dogs can be trained to do.
My name is Casey Jones. I'm retired from the Navy. I was an air traffic controller. I live with my service dog, Jackson, who himself comes from South Carolina. And he was named for Fort Jackson in South Carolina, so I guess he has a military background too. That's Army. I'm Navy, but we don't hold that against each other. And he is just he's just the love of my life.
My name is Katie, and I work with the puppies here at Brigadoon.
My name is Sean Crincoli, and I'm a service dog trainer here at Brigadoon.
I'm Dan, and I'm one of the trainers here at Brigadoon.
I would absolutely recommend Brigadoon to any veteran who says, I'm thinking about getting a service dog. In fact, I have many times. Denise does a fantastic job. She thinks like dogs. I think she actually has the ability to kind of look at them and know what they're thinking because her training is so spot on.
Bring. Give. Good girl. Release. Yay.
My career was curtailed because of health issues. After decades of migraines and stroke residuals, I began to have a lot of problems with balance. My internal gyroscope stopped functioning very well. With Jackson, I'm able to walk straight. I'm able to get up and down stairs, which is something I had a really hard time doing. He is always on my left side, so I always know exactly where he is. I feel more confident. I feel more connected. I feel like I don't have to distract my attention to pay so much to which foot is going where, because he's right there guiding me through the whole process.
Oh, there we go.
Don't be such a camera
When we're introducing a dog to a totally new environment, you want the best to come out of that environment. So the best thing is to not rush the dog into it or flood them. So in the case of the fair, we kind of dipped our toes in and then we came back out of the barn and then we went a little bit further and then we came out of the barn.
How they want a cow and a calf. But look, this is a good fair. Very modern type cow with good udder.
He is all super amped.
that just kind of eases them into it, because that was going to be a big thing. A lot of cows and people and wheelbarrows.
There was a fan that got in your head.
Yeah.
So we just let him reset.
Let's even get further, huh? Good boy. Nice job. Yeah, good boy, Scout. Nice job. Just because they get out.
Deal?
All the grooming.
How you doing? There's cows! We gotta get a sniff break. That was pretty intense.
Yeah, I believe it.
All right, go sniff.
So you just kind of let them get a glimpse of it, and then we bring it back, and then a little bit more, and we bring it back, and it's really just to make the transition as smooth as possible, so when this happens in the real world with their people, that this isn't going to be a shocking, crazy environment. This is something that they've had time to process.
I'm one of these people that does my research. I want to know all about everybody and everything they do before I ever make contact with them to employ them for their services. So I did some research on the internet about Denise, and I found nothing but glowing reviews about her. When I realized that she worked a lot with veterans, that made me realize she knows her stuff.
We train multiple cues to the dogs that will assist people when they're out and about in public. One of those cues is post. And a post behavior is where the dog plants themselves and goes behind the handler and is horizontal to the handler as opposed to walking beside them. And sometimes even leaning and putting a little bit of pressure on the handler as well at the same time. And that's a really good cue to use for people who have PTSD or anxiety and may have issue in public, especially with creating space between other people and themselves and feeling like somebody's coming over their shoulder. That can be a really big trigger. And so having the dog behind them is both reassuring. It also creates the space. It can be a little bit grounding to have the dog against you. It also is a reminder to the person who might be approaching that, hey, there's a person with a service dog, I should give them some space. So it creates that visual reminder, and it's a really big assistance to that person so that they aren't triggered in that public situation.
Denise is all business. She runs a very tight ship. When you're going through training with her, she expects you to pay attention. She also prepares you with a book for the training, and you go through the book page by page, and she expects you to learn this stuff. You know, as veterans, we're not children. Most of us, are over a certain age. We've been through a rigorous life of structure. So she expects you to take that structure and apply it to your dog. So it's just kind of like having a commanding officer with you at all times. And Denise can be very commanding, but she's also very strict, direct, to the point, and she knows her stuff. She is a wonderful resource as well. If you have questions about going places or doing things or anything out of the ordinary, you can call her and she will give you her best advice on how to proceed with that. I know that if I need her for anything, she will be right there. I know I can always count on her, and that support network is vital.
With a new dog, the client isn't aware of some of the quirks or different ways of the dog, and usually having spent a considerable amount of time with that dog, you know, you can share some of that with the client, which, you know, I've found that they really appreciate. Oh, yeah, that'd be good, huh? Chase that ball. Helping them to get to know the dog in those early stages, because of course the relationship is going to build and they're really going to get to know the dog over time. But you know, they're meeting a stranger and you like to know a little bit about the stranger. So yeah, I think it makes the transition and it makes the link and the connection and that bond that Brigadoon has with the client, that it's not just, here's the dog, you know, thanks for your business, but then they kind of, I think, feel a part of a, not just as an organization, but even more of a family.
We think I may be pre-diabetic. It runs in my family. I've got 5 diabetics on my father's side. And I recently asked her, if I go that way, if I do become a diabetic, can you train him to key on, you know, if I'm about to lapse into a sugar shock situation or whatever, can you train him to do that, even though he's already been thoroughly trained? And she said, oh, absolutely, not a problem.
It's really meaningful to be working with a dog and training them, and to know that their future is going to be to help somebody, whether it's a veteran or a child or an adult, somebody who just could use the benefit of a service dog to assist them in getting through life and provide the companionship along the way. That's really what makes it worthwhile, and it makes it more fun and often more interesting.
I mean, every dog going to somebody is amazing. You know, we get to know the dogs really well, so sometimes you know, in the back of your mind, you're rooting for, oh, I want a veteran for this one or a kid for this one. But I mean, all in all, it's just, I mean, it's joy. It makes the days here where, you know, dogs are sick and you're cleaning up and running around, it makes it all worth it. It's amazing. You don't think about those things when you see a happy person and a happy dog. Like, that team is amazing.
I hope you enjoyed the demo. Well, I better get back to it. She's forcing me to work.
I feel more independent with him. I can go places I probably wouldn't have gone before, do things I probably wouldn't have done before. Since I got him, I have developed some other issues, some other health issues, and I have found that he has aided me a great deal in not just getting around them, but just to emotionally cope with them. He gives me a lot of positive feedback, and in return, I just give him all the love in the world.
Sit. Down. Roll. Roll. Let's curl. Roll, Gracie. Stand.